people, it's me, Anja. My pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for my July TBR. Historically, July always tends to be my worst reading month because I tend to go on vacation in July, and whenever I go on vacation, I read less just because of like time zones, and we're so busy during the day that I just want to sleep at night, so I have less time to read. You know what I mean? And basically, I was looking at my work schedule. I'm only free to work 2 weeks out of the month. So anyway, with that said, I have low expectations for the quantity of books that I will be reading in July, but I have high expectations for the quality of books I will be reading in July. So without any further ado, the first book on this list is called Joined at the Joints. This story comes out July 2nd, and it's a YA contemporary story following a young, chronically ill, disabled main character who finds new love at a new support group. And I believe her love interest shares the same disability as her. And I'm so excited to read this book. First of all, if you didn't know, July, at least in the United States, is Disability Pride Month. And I love reading books about disabled main characters, especially like in a romance where the main character and her love interest are both disabled. We love to see it. Like, I'm so excited for that representation. The story itself sounds so good and so well done. So anyway, with all that said, even aside from the representation, I'm so excited for this book. So anyway, this book comes out July 2nd, and I'm so excited to read it. The next book on this list is called Exes and Foes. This story is a YA contemporary following two bisexual main characters who are competing for the same goal, only to fall for each other instead. Typical trope. I love this trope so much. I think it's so fantastic and so well done. I don't know what this trope specifically is called, but I love like main character tries to set up love interest with someone else or something like that, only to fall for them themselves, you know? Like the plot of Daniel Deconstructed. That book was so good. Anyway, I digress. This book comes out July 23rd, and I'm so excited to read it, based on the synopsis, but also the author's reputation, because they previously wrote They Hate Each Other last year, which I absolutely devoured. I really enjoyed. So again, I'm so excited to read this book, because the synopsis sounds amazing. Like, I have high expectations for the queer representation. I hear there might be asexual representation. Like, I hope this book is absolutely so good and so fantastic. So anyway, with that said, this book comes out July 23rd, and I'm so excited to read it. The next book on this list also comes out July 23rd, and it's called Amir and the Jinn Princess. This story is a middle-aged Pakistani-inspired fantasy following a young main character who's looking for his missing mother. And it's set in the same world as Noah and the Immortal Palace, which I read last year or maybe the year before. I absolutely loved it so much. So naturally, I'm so excited for this book. The concept sounds so good. And I trust the author's reputation so much because their previous book was absolutely so excellent, especially in the world building and like the magic and the characters and everything. I just love reading middle-aged fantasy, as we all know. So anyway, like I said, I'm so excited to read this book. I believe the main character like makes a deal with the Jinn Princess or something like that, and she's trying to enter a tournament or something. I don't know. I'm just so excited to read a portal fantasy because I don't think I've read a portal fantasy in a really long time, like a really good one. But anyway, I digress. The point is, I'm so excited to read this book. I hope that you all too. The next book on this list also comes out July 23rd, and it's called I Will Never Leave You. This story is a YA contemporary, or at least I think it's like a paranormal urban fantasy. But anyway, it follows a young sapphic main character who's possessed by the ghost of her ex-girlfriend. And her ex-girlfriend, Ghost, tells her that she must help her possess another girl or go down for her murder. And I'm not quite sure if she means go down for the murder of the third girl or go down for the murder of the ex-girlfriend. You know what I mean? Because since the ex-girlfriend is a ghost now, she's dead. So somebody like might have killed her. I don't know if that makes any sense. But anyway, I'm so excited to read this book because the synopsis sounds so intriguing and so well done. Like, I love, like, diving into maybe, like, toxic relationships and seeing what that really means, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm excited for the characters and the world building and everything about it and what the synopsis really means. Like, this entire book sounds like it's going to be so good and so emotional and so well done, especially dealing with, like, grief. Because there's one thing, like, if you're in a toxic relationship and you break up, but they're still alive, but it's a whole nother layer if they're dead. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm just so excited for this book because it sounds so interesting and so well done. So with that said, like I said, this book comes out July 23rd, and I'm really excited for it. The next book on this list is called The Loudest Silence. This story is a YA contemporary following two disabled queer teenagers who bond over music, and it's a bit of a platonic love story. I believe one of the main characters identifies as bisexual and the other one identifies as Eller. I'm not completely sure what the disabilities portrayed in this book are, but either way, I'm so excited to read it. This book comes out July 30th, and I'm just so excited to read it because, first of all, I love platonic love stories. I think they are so important and so necessary, especially in YA. Second of all, Eller representation is so underrepresented in the queer book, like, community. Like, as someone who reads queer books all the time, I can tell you that Eller stories are one of the most, not the most, but one of the most underrepresented identities. So I'm so excited to add another one to the collection. Third of all, or fourth of all, I forgot what I was on. Anyway, so many, like, authors and so many of my friends have promoted this book so heavily, so I'm so excited to read it. I hope that it's worth all of its hype and so much more. I'm sure that it is. So anyway, with that said, I'm so excited to read this book. It comes out July 30th. I don't remember if I said that already, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. The last book on this list, and hopefully not the least, is called 18 Roses. This story is a YA contemporary following a Filipino main character who has her debut coming soon. Like, her debut into, like, adult society coming up, except that it's not really her thing. And I believe this book also discusses, like, falling out with a best friend and societal and family expectations. And I'm so excited for the Filipino culture in it. Like, first of all, the author's reputation alone makes me so excited for this book because they previously wrote I'd Rather Burn Than Bloom, which I read last year, and it was one of my favorite books of last year. So naturally, I'm so excited to read this book. Second of all, one of my friends really enjoyed this book, and I trust them completely because they have such good taste. I believe they rated this book 4.5 out of 5 stars, which is so high. Third of all, the concept also sounds so intriguing and so well done. I love coming of age stories, as we all know. So anyway, with that said, this book comes out July 30th, and I'm so excited to read it. So in conclusion, that's my July TBR. Like I said earlier, I will be out of town for half of July, so I'm not quite sure how consistent I'll be posting videos or reading at all. But with that said, I hope that these books live up to my expectations. So in conclusion, if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the cactus emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!